Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.
Without delay, the Blockchain Report, sponsored by Datametrics. For more information, go to datametrics.com.
All right, this is great. We do this weekly with our friend Jeff Stevens and Dan Hendricken, who's here as a co-host from PEI, now living in Halifax. I have a feeling know nothing about blockchain.
No.
Okay. Well, we're going to learn more about what's going on in the land of datametrics and nexology. Hey, Jeff. Hey, Claude. How you guys doing?
Hey, fantastic. Thanks for having us on.
No problem. Whereabouts, Jeff? Where are you? Are you in town? Are you in Vancouver? Where are you?
I am in Montreal. We just finished up a little marketing trip. Peter Kim, who was on with me last week, who's the incoming president and COO for Graph Blockchain as it goes public. He and I were out in Calgary on Monday, Vancouver on Tuesday, and now I'm in Montreal for today and tomorrow, and just rounding things out. But spending 2 days a week in Montreal with Nexology and Claude and the team to ensure that, they have everything they need from us at DM to continue growing the company.
Fantastic, Claude. How are things by you, my friend?
Fantastic.
How's everything?
We're moving on, doing a lot more work with new clients, and we're hiring new people. If you have some good AI, people with good AI backgrounds looking for a job, we're hiring.
Claude, maybe just as a quick reminder, you've been on the program before, and I understand what Nexology does, but why don't you give our friends of the program a quick reminder, and then I'm serious about that job thing. Like, I want to know how people can maybe try and apply for a job, like what you mean with AI and artificial intelligence stuff, because doesn't that mean a robot would just apply? Or
that's the goal. We're going to replace everything with robots. But yeah, in the meantime, we need really smart humans who can replace other humans. But yeah, we're actively hiring right now with Datametrics. We're opening new businesses, and we're even maybe acquiring a few companies, and so we're growing the team quickly.
Cool. And just a reminder for people what it is that you guys do.
We do machine-assisted discovery. So if you just need, basically we go through, we find needles in haystacks. So if you're just trying to figure out what's trending, you don't really need our technology. But if you need to figure out what's going to be trending in a few months, what are the risks and like small opportunities that a normal human can't see, then that's when you use our software.
That'd be good software for comedians, Dan. You know who really likes you or who doesn't like you, and then maybe what they're saying about you or not saying about you, and then you can help work on your acts if everyone's talking pretty crappy about you too.
Well, wouldn't you know if everyone was talking crappy about you? It's a real good feedback loop. Stand-up comedy is. I'm just thinking, is this Skynet? Is my major question.
No, it's not Skynet.
Okay, perfect. That's all I needed to know.
There you go. You're fine.
Yep. I trust you.
What you're about to say, like a solution to comedians, Claude? How can we help them?
Well, comedians I don't think they can. I think there's just a lot of us, but
too far gone, bud.
Too far gone. Too small a market. It's true. But,
looking for pennies in a haystack.
Pennies in a haystack. Exactly. But with musicians, we've actually done this with musicians before. And what we found is that and this is for major, I can't tell you which one, but I actually created her Twitter account. That's this person was a major musician, more like on the punk rock side, and she had no idea. Created her Twitter account. We analyzed thousands and thousands of blogs, and what's really funny is that while this musician thought she was more like I guess she would call herself romantic rock. It's like Smashing Pumpkins-y type stuff, and she was trying to make up her own genre, but we actually found that she had fans who were like closer to death metal fans that she didn't know about, like a huge following in Scandinavian countries where, this is the thing, is I think a lot of people think they understand their fan base, but they're connecting with, certainly artists, they're connecting not really with their fans, they're connecting with what maybe a bunch of yes people say about them. Right, that close entourage that keeps feeding you bad feedback loops, that happens in business all the time. And so what we found is that certainly in music, and you see this all the time, you see these really loaded musicians who make stupid decisions, right? And it's because they're surrounded by yes people. And they're actually blinded by that feedback. Whereas, again, like what we do is that we do machine-assisted discovery. So we do stuff that normal humans can't see, that you will need a machine to sift through all the data and find the weak signals for you.
I love that, and what a great sort of lesson there, right? You never know necessarily about what you even think your own brand is, and especially you're right, if you're kind of like this pretentious, you got team around you and they're just directing you and they're yes man and all this stuff. They're gonna do whatever you tell them to do. But if you don't understand truly your brand, then you might be telling people the wrong stuff. I mean, fun when you get to fire them later because you don't get the results that you get. But in your case, you're getting these automatic results. That's I wonder where Bilal's big fan club would be. What part of the world they'd be from?
I do have 9,000 Twitter followers, but from where? From when you bought them that one time.
We need to find.
I don't know how many of those are you and Bilal.
No, I've checked. They're real, but they're random.
They're real.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of tools that I didn't do this, but the former mayor of Montreal, the Gazette used some of my software once, and they proved that the former mayor, I think it was 70% of his Twitter followers were robots.
Wow. That's crazy.
I'm just back and forth with a friend of mine in New York who he has another huge data company, very different angle of mine, and we're on good terms. And he had proven, I think, in 2013 that Newt Gingrich only had 7% humans.
My goodness. My goodness. Coincidentally, the same amount of humans in this entire planet that even sort of remotely like him.
I thought that's why it was kind of close.
He had 100% correlation on that. So, hey, Todd, I'm just listening to what Claude's saying here, and I think, if you look at the SiriusXM being a global platform, you're Toronto-based, but you speak to a global audience. Sort of seems like this is a tool set that Sirius should be using for their partners to understand, what parts of the world they're actually getting penetration in and where they should be spending their ad dollars. Who do you speak to at Sirius?
I think it's a great idea. I just don't know if I can describe it to them as penetration coming from me. We'll leave that one to you.
Todd's real jazzed up about penetration again. Okay, yeah, cool.
Whiteboard.
Hey, CEO Mark, I want to penetrate my audience. How do we do that? No, probably not go over well. I'm also married, so I love you, babe.
I think it's a radio show.
No, that's it is a really interesting idea to find out. That's the one thing, and I'll be very honest. Like we know that there's 36 million, I think now, subscribers of SiriusXM. It is tough sometimes, other than independent studies, to determine who's listening where and where. Yesterday I had called from Jacksonville, Michigan, Houston. Like, so it all, that part of it amazes me, where we get a lot of listeners outside. I always think Toronto, the core being Canada, maybe, and we definitely love talking about sort of Canadian things as opposed to other stations. But yeah, people just pick up on stuff for some reason and get these interests on it. That would be a good idea to get Nexology involved.
We can look at that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Claude. I'm thinking about it because if I got, say, I got a ton of fans in Texas or something, or Houston or whatever, I'm going to start talking with an accent.
Start talking about the Spurs more.
We actually did something once for CBS Radio, on purely pitch bait level. I think it was a pilot, and we were looking at sports teams. And what we found was, and then we looped back with the actual radio stations, like the mothership. And they really didn't like the information we had to give them.
Oh, shit. Can you give an example of that?
Well, I think we were looking at an East Coast sports team. And on social, so the radio station, of course, can only broadcast so many kilometers around the main city. And that's it. They really don't care anybody else who's a fan, because the way they monetize, the way they're paid for, is the local advertising. And so we were showing that there's sports fans from this East Coast, basically football team, all over the world. And they were hardcore fans that they weren't reaching. And we were just saying, well, just take your podcast and hit these people with ads for the podcast. And then you'll be able, and it was no go. They didn't want to hear anything about that.
Really? That's a shame. But what a smart thing. While you can let people know that you can get yourselves later, or listen online.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And then you get all the advertising anyway.
Yeah, it's different.
And if you look let's say the Habs, the Leafs, nobody likes the Leafs. So, maybe just Toronto, maybe Barrie is as far north as you go with the Leafs. Well, there are Habs fans all over the world.
Oh, you're just saying that. Look at this.
Wait a second, aren't you guys third in the draft lottery? How's that going?
No, it's fine. We know we're going to bounce back. You know, we're one of these like major sports franchises that's going to win sooner or later. We just have that confidence.
You know, I don't trust you anymore.
It has nothing to do with data. It has to do with space.
Claude Thierry from Nexology.com and Jeff Stevens, the president and CEO of Datametrics. How's everything else going over at Datametrics? I know you guys are doing so many different things. You're always moving forward, moving in the right direction. Any new sort of news to talk about this week, Jeff?
Well, I think, we hit on a lot last week with respect to sort of the Graph blockchain, and that's a major development for us, getting that in a position so it can go public, and we're in that process now where we submitted the documents to the exchange, the Ontario Securities Commission. So we're working on that, and obviously, we had a lot of free trading paper from the private placement that we raised money to acquire Nexology back in November. That came due, so we traded a lot of volume. We were proud to say we traded over 70 million shares in March, which is phenomenal. So we think the pressure's off the stock that way. So now we're just sort of working on getting out, telling the story, making sure that everyone's aware of all the good things that we're working on, and with Claude as well here at Nexology, there, as you mentioned when he first got on, looking to hire and add to the team. So great things are happening here, and we're firing on all cylinders. So. Just exciting.
Just to warn you, the interview process is really brutal.
Are you tough? Are you demanding?
I saw someone leave today in tears.
What?
No, I'm just joking.
No, but he did leave. He did leave, and he was like a PhD, and he has a PhD in data mining and worked at big companies, and our team just chewed him apart. So it was going to be a no.
Wow, you guys are bright guys, and ladies over there. You got the whole crew. That's so good. If you guys are expanding, I would imagine that means you're getting a lot of contracts, and Nexology's in demand. And of course, it should be everything that I've learned from what you can do and help, and really just truly help companies, help brands. It's phenomenal work. You guys are great, Claude. You got to come on more. I really like when you're on.
Yeah, you just have to. We'll talk more about the Habs and the Leafs, no problem.
Yeah.
So I have to admit, I'm one of these guys who absolutely doesn't watch any sports. I'm one of those really boring, non-sports guys. My wife is Australian and thinks it's really weird. She's all over cricket.
Cricket, yeah. I mean, I guess, most guys that I've met from the Montreal area are die-hard Habs fans.
Yeah.
Well, they're all over the world. Like, this is the thing, is that I think there are only Leafs fans maybe in Canada, but everywhere you go, like I've been, you'll see Habs jackets, Habs stuff, even in New York and Boston. Boston is the only place I've been to where there's very little Habs stuff.
Huh. I wonder what maybe all the French-speaking communities just gravitate to them.
Yeah, maybe like the French.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say we haven't used the Nexology toolset to verify what.
No, none of that's been verified.
Where are all the Hab fans?
You got to get bored with all that power though, and just shoot it off sometimes, right?
Well, I used to do a lot of personal projects, and then the team had to shut me down.
Yeah.
So at one point, I was monitoring 300 different things, just for the hell of it. Like, you say something, you piss me off, I put you in the system.
Oh yeah, exactly. A couple too many shots at Jameson's, you're like, "Fuck you, Craig," and then you just.
Exactly. No, the team has we were talking about the Yes Men. Well, we have a guaranteed system. Like everybody here, basically, the way we run the shop is. Everybody just gives me shit all the time. We don't have any yes men here.
Well, good to know you're real people, and honestly, when you want to work with companies, you want to work with real people. Gone are the days of faking it, right? Yeah. Just be who you are, and people like that, and you don't got to be a yes man, but you just got to pay the bills. That's all. Jeff, thank you. Glad to hear everything's going so well over at Datametrics, datametrics.com. You can find out everything they're involved in. And, of course, Nexology.com, Nexalogy.com. And I'm sure you can reach out to Claude from over there as well. And, definitely get you both back on the program very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay, cheers.
I appreciate your continued support, guys.
Of course. And listen, if I don't have any more support over at SiriusXM, I might need to apply for a job.
Get ready to get grilled.
Okay, I'll just talk like a robot to help expedite the process. Hey, Claude, can I have the job? I can do machine learning. Anyway, cheers. Terrible.
The Todd Shapiro Show. Canada Laughs. SiriusXM 168.